I'd like to call the regular session meeting of September 17th, 2024, 7 p.m. to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor Romanek?
Here.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Here.
Vice Mayor Sui? Commissioner Watson?
Here.
Commissioner Ranello?
Present.
I'd like to have Reverend Jonathan Murky please come to the podium and give an invocation. Please stand.
Join me in prayer. Father, we give you thanks for this day and for all of your blessings. Thank you for a new school year and for those who make it happen. Thank you for those who help and keep and protect our city. Thank you for our leadership. May your blessing be on this meeting tonight. Give us wisdom and guidance and lead us forward in all things, for we ask it in your name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This meeting is being conducted in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act of 1975. It was advertised, posted, and made available to the public as required by statute. The municipal clerk is directed to include a statement in the minutes of this meeting. Madam Clerk, are there any changes?
Yes, Mayor, just one, which was the removal of an ordinance on first reading, item number 2 concerning Buck Street.
Thank you. Any presentations?
No, Mayor.
Bills?
Make a motion to pay the bills?
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second to pay the bills. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Ranello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
I make a motion to approve and dispense with the reading of the following minutes and to proceed with the regular order of business. September 3rd, 2024 work session, September 3rd, 2024 closed session, September 3rd, 2024 regular session.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call?
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Ranello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Public comment on agenda items only. We have now reached the public comment portion. If anybody would like to come and address the commission. See nobody, I will close the public comment on agenda items only. Petitions and letters.
We have none, Mayor.
Reports of commissioners. Commissioner Hewitt.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to receive and file the EMS, Fire, and Police Department reports for the month of August 2024.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second for to receive and file the EMS and Fire and Police Department reports for the month of August of this year. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Ranello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Commissioner Watson.
As stated in the work session, 3,400 delinquent notices went out for the solid waste utility at the end of August. Catch basin repair at 2415 Shelburne Road was complete. I'm sorry, this is for the Streets and Roads Department now. So the catch basin repair was complete. 117 tons of brush was collected, and Streets and Roads are still out collecting. The current location is West Main Street, and it's headed towards Cromwell Road. A lot of calls were received so far for loose leaves in relation to the brush, but the loose leaf collection starts November 1st and ends December 31st. Residents can start placing loose leaves out the last 2 weeks of October. And if anybody has any questions or concerns, please contact Streets and Roads at 856-825-7000, extension 7388. That's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner Watson. Commissioner Ranello.
Yes, I just wanted to go over some department highlights and happenings. Our September 11th ceremony was held last Wednesday evening. We had many residents from the community attend, and we would like to thank you all for helping Millville to never forget that tragic day in 2001. We'd also like to thank the Lavoie Camp Choir and the Millville High School students who performed at the event. They should feel very proud. They were pretty amazing. It was great to see our youth involved with this ceremony. Even though they were too young to remember, they understand the importance. Thank you, Millville Fire Department, for hanging the big American flag from the new tower truck. Thank you to all the prayer readers and speakers that attended as well. Lastly, I want to thank Samantha Cruz and the men and women of our Parks Department who organized and set up this year's ceremony. We also had Millville's annual car show this past Saturday. We had a great turnout. There were actually over 200 cars. Congratulations to Edwin Chavarria. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I hope so. for winning the Best in Show award with his 1967 Chevy Nova SS. Cool car. We'd like to thank the following sponsors: the Neighborhood Preservation Program, Gary and Betty Galloway, Chopper Automotive, AutoZone of Millville, National Highway Products, Gentilini Ford, and Gentilini Chevrolet. It was an amazing turnout that was well attended. Thanking everybody for coming out and enjoying the car show, and also supporting our local businesses. There was a lot of food, a lot of people, they were packed in our local businesses. As far as upcoming events, on Saturday, September 28th, Millville Recreation Department is holding our annual baby show at Corson Park. All children must be 4 years or younger and must be from Millville to participate. Registration will start at noon, and the show will begin at 1 p.m. sharp. Also, the Holly City Walking Club is going to start back up on Tuesday, October 1st, 6:30 to 7:30 p.m., and it's going to take place every Tuesday and Thursday, unless otherwise noted. I really want to thank the Board of Education for allowing us to use Lakeside Middle School once again. It's pretty wonderful. We also have several fun Halloween activities coming up in October, so stay tuned. We'll be announcing them. If you should have any questions on any of these events, please contact the Millville Recreation Department, 856-825-7000, extension 7394. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner Brunello. Make a motion to receive and file the tax collector's report for August 2024.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Brunello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Motion carries.
The City of Millville intends to submit the 2023 Comprehensive Annual Performance Evaluation Report to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development on September 27th. A draft of the city's program year 2023 Comprehensive Annual Performance Evaluation Report for its CDBG program is available for inspection on the city website and in person on the 5th floor of City Hall through Wednesday, September 25th. A public hearing for the draft 2023 report will be held at 4 p.m. Thursday, September 19th in the City Commission chambers. Written components of the report may be submitted until 4 p.m. September 25th. Written comments should be addressed to the Department of Community Development, 12 South High Street, P.O. Box 609, Millville, New Jersey, 08332. I had a wonderful interview with Fox 29 News on September 5th with meteorologist Drew Anderson. We toured downtown Millville, specifically the riverfront and other area businesses. You should be seeing that interview coming out shortly. I do not have a set date yet, but it was a beautiful day, and he got to learn a lot about what Millville has to offer to its community. I attended the Inspira Primary Care grand opening on September 10th, which is located at the Union Lake Crossing Center at 2148 North 2nd Street, Suite A. This is a great addition to the community where it's going to offer residents, not only in Millville, but in the Cumberland County area to receive their primary care. It's approximately 9,000 square foot building where right now 2 doctors and immense staff has already been setting up and getting ready for their primary care patients to begin arriving. The Inspira Health Network branch as a total is continuing to grow here in South Jersey, and I'm just glad to see and have them here in the city of Millville. As Commissioner Ranello said, a solemn and well-attended 9/11 ceremony took place last Tuesday. I want to also have special thanks to Sergeant Stadnick and Officer Somerville for the flag detail. As well as the car show, there was over 200 cars, beautiful weather, incredible job done by Samantha Cruz, Brooke Tomlin, Wayne Gressman, and Randy Quay. Millville Police Department as well. Everybody in the community came together to promote and support this 33rd annual car show, which is now done by the city of Millville. We had some hiccups, some issues, but for the first year we took corrective criticism, and I can't wait for next year to make it better. I couldn't imagine a better day for it. All the people that came out and showed support, just like we said, in the support of the businesses as well. Rob Bruni got a bunch of lemonade for his staff, and he was walking back, and he said, "This is the most cars and people in 10 years in business on High Street for the car show." I'm excited, just like Holly City Fest. That was a couple weeks ago. I'm excited for the next year to do these events and continue to do these events and also bring new events to the city that the public can enjoy. This Thursday, I will be on with Jim Quinn on Thursday the 19th at 7 p.m. for his Inside the Trek edition, where I'll probably be asked to describe all these events that I just talked about briefly with Mr. Quinn. Ordinances in the second reading.
Okay, the first item is an ordinance appropriating certain unexpended proceeds of the sale of previously issued bonds and notes to finance the cost of the additional water utility improvements and taking related actions.
Make a motion on ordinance on the second reading.
Second motion.
We have a public hearing. If anybody would like to come to the podium, state your name, address, and concerns on the ordinance and second reading, item number 1. Please limit your comments to 5 minutes.
Good evening, Patricia Kears, 409 Peach Drive. Is this in addition to the $2,065,000 that was bonded for the water meters? Is this where the extra $240,000 is going to go? And what are the additional water utility improvements that it's going to help finance?
I could provide those answers, but I was just going to look into it to give you an exact, answer up front. I believe this came from a separate bond, and there was leftover funding, and then
Like it was 2008 or something. It was a long time ago.
I don't remember.
2016, I believe. Is it
16?
Don't quote me on that, Mrs. Kears.
No,
I
it's
believe
16
so.
or 8 because they were both
Yeah.
a long time ago.
And as far as the project goes, Vice Mayor looks over the water department. He could probably describe to you what they're being used for.
Okay, do any of the rest of you know what the additional water utility improvements are before you vote?
Yes.
You do. What are they?
I would rather have Vice Mayor Sui explain to you in specifics.
Thank you.
I wasn't prepared to answer Mrs. Kears, but I do.
Good evening, Angeline Rumal, Millville. Just to follow up with this ordinance, and preferably I don't have to again with the next one, considering they're the same thing. If this is an ordinance, right, and it's a lot of money, and no one can answer exactly or is willing to, whether they can or cannot, or is willing to provide the public with an answer, then I would request that you either table it until there's someone here who can, or vote against it, because you guys don't really have the answers either. And this is, a lot of money that the public isn't knowing where it's going. Thank you.
Thank you, Angel.
Yeah, it's money that needs to be reappropriated because it's left over from a bond. It's in the water utility, so it's going to have to go back into the water utility. Can't be spent for anything else.
Correct. It's the best interest of the city to appropriate the unexpended proceeds in the amount of $240,141.89 under ordinance number 6 to finance the costs associated with the citywide water main replacement projects collectively as the quote new water main projects end quote.
So it's the infrastructure for the water department.
Correct.
So it's most likely the replacement of the lead pipes and such as we move along throughout the city.
Correct.
And
I
I
believe
guarantee that.
I believe on the first reading, the Vice Mayor made a comment about it.
He did.
Anything further, Brock?
No.
If I may. Brock, how should we move on this? Because I think we're leaving some questions on the table. Should this be carried to the next meeting? Do we need to table it to the next meeting? What do we need to do?
I think it's routine business.
It is.
The funds have to be reappropriated. It was explained by the vice mayor at first reading.
And it is staying in the water
Yeah,
department.
and it
Yes.
stays in
Okay.
the water utility.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Second item is an ordinance amending unexpended proceeds, ordinance number 7-2016, finally adopted on February 23rd, 2016, to reappropriate certain unexpended proceeds of the sale of previously issued bonds and notes to finance the cost of water utility capital improvements and taking related actions.
Make a motion on the second reading.
Second motion.
We have a motion on the ordinance in the second reading, item number 2. There's a public hearing attached. If anybody would like to come to the podium, state your concerns. Seeing nobody, I will close the public hearing. Any comments?
Do we have a, I'm sorry, do we have the second on the motion?
Second.
Okay,
We're a
sorry, I missed that. Thank you.
Any comments of commissioners?
All comments should have covered in the ordinance above. Am I correct?
Yeah, and the specifics are actually listed in the ordinance itself, so if you look at it, they're there.
Roll call, please.
Yes.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Ordinances in the first reading.
Okay, we have an ordinance amending Millville Code, Chapter 52, Police Regulations, so as to enact new Article 10, prohibited camping.
Make a motion.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second on ordinances in the first reading, item number 1. Any comments?
Mr. Russell, could you explain how this ordinance aligns with the Supreme Court's grants pass decision?
Yeah, the state of the law until the Supreme Court decided City of Grants Pass, Oregon versus Johnson, and that decision was made on June 28th, was that you really couldn't enforce a loitering or an anti-camping ordinance, because if you did, the claim would be made that you were penalizing the status of someone because people can't help the fact that they're homeless. So the case law said if you try to enforce ordinances like that, someone may be loitering, may be panhandling, somebody may be sleeping on a city street, that you would be penalizing them for their status. So there was an ordinance that was on the books in a municipality in Oregon, and that ordinance was challenged. It went all the way up to the United States Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court in City of Grants Pass, Oregon versus Johnson held that an ordinance that had a graduated penalty structure was not penalizing people because they were homeless. And it was an anti-camping ordinance. In essence, what it said was that you couldn't sleep in a public place or a quasi-public place. For a first offense, there would be a small fine. For a second offense, there would be a higher fine, and also the judge would have discretion to issue an order that would prohibit the person from going back to that spot. And then if they violated that court order, then and only then could they possibly go to jail. So that's what was before the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court upheld that ordinance. When I crafted the ordinance that's before the commission, I tried to adhere to what the ordinance was that was basically okayed by the Supreme Court. And again, it doesn't penalize someone for their status, but it does criminalize certain behavior. And so that's how I would break it down.
Thank you, Mr. Russell.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
You asked for public comment.
No, sir.
No, that's the next meeting. It's being introduced, and the public comment will be at the next meeting, and you can comment then, okay, Tom?
Only ordinances in the second reading require a public hearing.
Okay. Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Resolutions.
Okay, item 1 is a resolution to amend Resolution Number 5-2024 to accommodate for the League of Municipalities in November and provide for the designated meeting dates of the Board of Commissioners for calendar year 2024.
Make a motion on resolution item number 1.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second on resolution item number 1. Any comments? This is just as we make our calendar year for the meetings and meetings of other boards of City Hall. This one, at best, are foreseeing of the future, so it is a change of the date of an upcoming meeting. Roll call.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 2 is a resolution approving the insertion of an additional item of revenue in the calendar year 2024 municipal budget in the sum of $12,012.52 from the state of New Jersey in the form of the National Opioid Settlement Grant for McKinsey Payment Number 1, which is now available as revenue.
Make a motion.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second on resolution item number 2. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 3 is a resolution authorizing adjustments to the tax and utilities record.
Make a motion.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second on resolution item number 3. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Ranello?
yes,
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 4 is a resolution authorizing filing an application with the U.S. Department of Justice, Bureau of Justice Assistance for funding under the fiscal year 2024 Local Justice Assistance Grant Program, and authorizing a shared service agreement between the City of Vineland, City of Millville, City of Bridgeton, and County of Cumberland for such finding.
Make a motion.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second on resolution item number 4. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Ranello?
yes,
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 5 is a resolution authorizing special assessment of municipal liens for certain properties due to expenses incurred by the City of Millville relating to cut and clean, plus administrative fees in accordance with Chapter 11, Article 6 of the Municipal Code.
make a motion,
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second on resolution item number 5. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Ranello?
yes,
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 6 is a resolution amending the shared services agreement between the Cumberland County Prosecutor's Office and the City of Millville, City of Bridgeton, and City of Vineland to extend the grant through to December 31st, 2025, and thereby extend the period to purchase and receive approved automated license plate readers.
Make a motion.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second on resolution item number 6. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Ranello?
yes,
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
New business.
Okay, I just need a motion to authorize the city clerk to advertise for bids for the project known as Ireland Avenue Force Main Replacement.
Make a motion.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second on new business item number 1. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Ranello?
yes,
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
We have now reached the public comment portion of our meeting. Anyone who would like to address the commission, please go to the podium, state your name, and address your concerns. Please limit your concerns to approximately 5 minutes. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Catherine Shipley, and I am the union president for PBA 213, and our address being 18 South High Street. PBA 213 and SOA have been out of contract since January of 2024. The PBA SOA have only had 2 formal sit-down negotiation meetings with the City of Millville. Our last meeting occurred on April 24th, 2024. We have requested another meeting, however, the city's negotiation committee has not sat down with PBA SOA since, nor at any point have they provided an offer. Our most recent correspondence between PBA 213 and the City of Millville expresses a best and final offer at the end of October, and we look forward to working cohesively with the city and anticipate a competitive offer. With that said, I'd like to point out some things to the citizens as well as the city commissioners. A Millville police officer will make approximately $28,000 less than a Vineland police officer. They will make approximately $9,000 less than a Bridgeton police officer. Since 2019, the City of Millville has lost 14 officers for employment with other agencies. Some information on officers we've lost. 1 officer won Camden County Prosecutor's Office Narcotics Officer of the Year Award. He makes approximately $24,000 more being employed there. 2 former Millville police officers have won Delaware State Police Trooper of the Year awards. These are just some of the prestigious awards our former officers have received. They all are thriving in their new departments with room for growth and advancement. We ask the city to recognize the loss of good officers who are valuable members of our department. They have left and succeeded elsewhere, truly showing a loss to our city. Recruitment and retention of police officers is a problem here. I've conducted a poll among PBA members to gauge the body's feelings in the current climate. More than half that responded have taken the civil service test in an attempt to leave to another department. A third have received job offers from other departments and have been unable to transfer due to the requirement needing the chief of police to sign off on the transfer. The city is actively preventing people from leaving who are just looking for better opportunities. The biggest problem is the salaries here are not competitive. If we can make the salaries competitive, the major driving force of the exodus will be taken care of. I'd like to stress that these are fully qualified and working officers who are looking for any way to leave the city of Millville. To put things into perspective, a newly hired police officer to replace those leaving, to replace them, will take approximately a year and a half from the time of background investigation to the final process of their field training program to be ready to work by themselves. That is a year to a year and a half before you have a new officer ready to work on the road. It takes a few years for an officer to be comfortable with their knowledge of the job. A majority of those that I polled have between 4 to 10 years on the job. That's experience that is irreplaceable at this moment. The current officers have been working short-staffed for quite some time, and honestly, the number of sworn officers for the department's roster should be reevaluated and increased. As a result of short staffing of officers, our officers are exposed at a higher rate to use of force incidences, shootings and violent calls for service. Officers are also more likely to be injured and fatigued to make up for the staffing shortages. There is a large amount of crime occurring in Millville. Within the past 10 days alone, MPD officers have recovered 3 illegal guns. That means no permit, they don't own them. This is unfortunately a common occurrence in this city. The amount of shootings have increased in recent months. Since June of 2024, we have had 26 confirmed shootings, with an additional 4 plausible ones, with scenes unable to be located. This is in comparison to 13 from last year's same time frame. That's more than double. Our officers have encountered police-involved shootings in recent years. Recently, 2 officers reported hearing gunshots whizzing near their marked police vehicles as they were actively responding to the area after hearing gunshots fired. These officers believe they were targeted specifically for the shooting. This is still an active and ongoing investigation. Our officers are working their hardest and trying to make the city as safe as possible while answering an increase in calls for service volume. We ask for the public support in asking for the city of Millville and its commissioners to recognize the tremendous work and stress our officers are encountering. By asking for support, we hope that the city will provide a competitive contract offer with hopes this will help in the recruitment and retention of Millville officers. My members have been diligently working to keep this town the same as most of us grew up. But sadly, this ideal of a small town is merely that of yesteryears. We must adapt to this city we have become and provide resources to police the town as such. You cannot address these big city problems with a small town mentality. In order to get qualified officers, we need a competitive salary. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to staff adequately. Thank you for your time and consideration. We look forward to the support of the citizens of Millville and its city commissioners.
Thank you, Detective. Thank you, Detective.
Tim Cardy, Millville. About 2 Saturdays ago, I had Millville police at my house for an incident it kind of involved my family. And I gotta say, the officer that showed up, I can't remember his name, but I could picture him. He was very polite and courteous. And then the patrols that was watching my neighborhood, I appreciate them. You know, I've been coming up here talking about the contracts over and over. And it's sad that we're losing good officers because one person, one commissioner, is holding the purse strings that is preventing these contracts for our public employees. My suggestion is, there's 4 of you. If he's holding this up and he's preventing other future endeavors in the city with our employees and purchasing stuff for our employees, maybe it's time to remove him from his position, because obviously he has too much power when it comes to this city. There's 4 of you up here, and I remember 2 commissions ago, he was removed from power from his departments. So maybe that should be taken into consideration so that way our public employees can get their contracts settled with good starting pay for everybody. And I'm not talking about a 1%, 2%, 3% raise. Our public employees, all of them deserve a living wage. You're not providing it, they're going to other cities. How many employees left here to go to the city of Vineland? How many police officers have went to the county sheriff's department? Can you blame our officers for going for not only higher pay, but a safer work environment? I was at the football game Friday night, and our officers handled the one fight very professionally, and they were quick. They're putting their lives out on the line, and they're not getting paid diddly squat. I think that the four of you need to sit back and maybe remove some power from a certain commissioner that's in charge of revenue and finance, and that's holding the purse strings for these employees to get fair starting pay and better wages. Thank you.
Jim Reeves, 40 Packard Drive, Millville. Carlton Avenue, speed limit's 25. I think the city should look at raising the speed limit to 35 on that street. It's a main street through town. Not too many people park on it. The problem with it is the lines down the street are no passing. But as you go down it either way, it looks like it's a passing zone. Because when it was painted, some of the paint didn't down as much. So it looks like a passing zone. But even when you go down at 30 mile an hour, which I do most of the time, that's 5 over the speed limit. Before I get to the other end, I got 5 or 6 cars behind me, or they pass me. And I hate to say it when somebody passes and then somebody gets clipped, but hey, I'll be there with the fire department on that. So the other street is, I'm not sure if it's the city's or not, is the main street through the airport, from Cedar Street to Dividing Creek. The lines there, my wife is complaining about, they're gone, and people speed on that too. Enough for the streets. I had to come to the planning board meeting, the last one you had. Good meeting. It brought to mind something else. On Sundays, I read the paper. The only paper I still can get, the New York Times, that you can actually read, I think. Most of them non-existent, and what there is not much in it, local news. But in this, they talked 2 weeks ago about chemicals from municipal waste. The federal government pushed using the waste, sewer sludge waste from industry and homes to put on farms. Now they're finding that it's got in it forever chemicals, which is all the things that are bad that won't leave the chemicals or leave the earth. One farm in Texas was over 100 acres. They had to destroy all their cattle and their farming. They cannot farm the land, so they're going broke. There's 4 states they mentioned. Now, 30 years ago, I'm guessing, Millville took sewer sludge from Philadelphia, brought it down, and put it on land where the airport is and across Dividing Creek and those fields that they grow corn in. Came to mind at the planning board when they're talking about the rezoning, and I didn't know what lots were lot. Afterwards I looked and said, oh, and the planner who was here didn't know anything about there was sewer sludge blown in. I don't know, maybe it's all fine, there's nothing in it. But in the future, if that's developed in any way, it may be a problem. I don't know. Just food for thought for the city. And I'm sure you don't remember. I know they finally stopped bringing it when the smell got so bad that the city did shut it down. So, but I do remember, and if you've been around for a while, you remember when we did that.
The former economic development director was aware of that. That was something he made us aware about.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief.
And I support the police department.
Yes, sir. As always.
Patricia Kears, 409 Peach Drive. I would like to thank whoever took the first reading of the ordinance to make Buck Street a one-way street off the agenda. I would like to commend that person. because it's going to be a real issue with traffic, especially with the bridge, especially with emergency situations. Also, thank you, Tim Cardy, for your support of the police department, and I think the fire department should also be included in that. Did you know that some of our officers and firefighters are eligible for SNAP benefits? If you don't know what SNAP is, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, the old food stamp program. That's pretty damn sad. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Hi, my name's Todd Beebe. I live at 520 North 6th Street, and I just wanted to address a couple things. We've been there for a very long time. My family, I mean, we bought the house back in the 60s, so, and my family, and I still live there, been there through the generations, and my mother's over here, and she's handicapped, she has a lot of health issues, and the level of noise that goes on that street is, especially after 11:30, 12 o'clock at night in the area, especially like between like Oak and Broad Street, and the gunshots are just ridiculous. And also, that's one issue, and another issue I also wanted to bring up is the way people peel out and speed their cars down there. And I don't know what type of budget the Streets and Roads has, what they have for their budget and allocations, but one possible solution that we were thinking about with some other people on that street was maybe just a simple course of putting a couple speed bumps in, because that might make all the difference in the world, because there are also a lot of little kids on that street too, and I just hate to see somebody get hit the way they peel out. But the noise level and the cars speeding down, it's a huge problem in that area, and you guys probably are aware of it, but we just want to bring your attention because it is very hard when she has health issues and she's trying to sleep at 11:30, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, and she's waking up by fighting, loud music blaring, gunshots, everything. And I know what you guys were saying before about how the police department is unfortunately spread a little thin. So I also think, in accordance to what everybody else was saying, if we can get those wages up for our police and we have more police out there to patrol, I think it would make also a world of difference in all this stuff. But thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jonathan Murky, Churchill Drive. As a taxpayer, as a pastor, as a chaplain, I just wanted to affirm and thank you for the opportunity to share our concerns. This past week, 2 of my parishioners have required police assistance, and both of them have come to me and said the young police officers who came to them were outstanding, very professional and compassionate, and I'm grateful for that. As a chaplain, I have the privilege of working with all of our first responders. I'm telling you right now, they are top-notch people. They know what they're doing, and they do it well, and I'm grateful for that. As a chaplain, I'm also part of the school chaplaincy program, and because of the shortfall, one of our school resource officers had to be moved back on patrol, and you can't begin to imagine the difference those school resource officers make in the Millville Public Schools. So I'm just appealing to you. Do what you need to do to get this taken care of, because it needs to be addressed. Thank you so much.
Good evening. Anthony DeSantis. I'd like to expand on the topic of the police department, if I may. As an extensive user of
Can you
Millville
talk?
School-
Can you talk into the microphone, DeSantis?
Better?
There you go.
Okay. As an extensive user of the Millville's Police Department, I'll be the first one to stand up and commend them. In addition to the police department, also the fire department in itself, and the people who work in the paramedics. I respect what everyone has to say tonight, that the police department does deserve more money. And it's a very nice thing to say in here. But what I haven't heard tonight, it's actually troublesome to me. They came up, fire a commissioner, The other comment was, just throw money at them. Where's it coming from? Are we going into debt financing? Are you gonna raise your taxes? Do you have a solution? I mean, when the city wants to bring in a certain product or new businesses or something into the area, they're gonna add to the tax bill. This should be some type of support. Now, I'm not telling you that I'm trying to promote a business or whatnot. I'm telling you that it's a simple financial equation. You have a spreadsheet. There's a positive, there's a negative, and the bottom number should be somewhat positive. If it's a negative, you're working in debt. Debt doesn't work. It only lasts for so long. So let's help the police department, the fire department. Let's make certain that they have the most up-to-date equipment for them to protect themselves. But together as a whole, I think we should sit down, or at least the powers that be, and maybe some outsiders with some help, and determine how to generate this revenue. This way Kirk could go up there and stand up to his policeman and stand in front of his firemen and say, "I've done this for you." Anybody can ask for money. I mean, let's be honest. Anybody can ask for money. But in my opinion, what you guys are getting paid is, for lack of a better word, pathetic. You deserve more money. And I said that to every police officer that came to that facility. And when I spoke to them, first of all, we always praise their work. Anything that we can give them, we offer them. Water, someplace warm in the wintertime. It's just, they're human beings. Secondly is the money aspect of it. But how do you give more money if the city's in a deficit? So let's not crucify or just say, hey, let's dump it. Let's come up with a plan. Let's come up with a solution. If there's going to be debt financing, that's fine. But in the end, you have to see some revenue coming in. If you don't see revenue coming in, don't complain when your taxes go up. So now you're paying $5,000, next year you're paying $10,000. Guess what? Deal with it. You know why? Because everyone here is quick to comment, but help with a solution. I'll help. I don't mind. I mean, tax revenue from businesses is one. Cannabis, the last time I was here, there was a cannabis group. I mean, this room was full because the city made $15,000 on a cannabis. Well, if it's working so great and they're bringing in so much money, let's bring in some more of that money and let's reinvest it in the police department, in the fire department, in the paramedics. But you can't just do debt financing without an end game. Thank you for your time. And I support you guys, but I support you with a plan. I would like to see a future for everyone here. Just going into debt and paying you an extra $10,000. How long do you think that's going to last? Before a load of layoffs come through. New York City, they changed the mayors. They got layoffs. When New York City, excuse me? I'm sorry?
One person,
wait.
excuse
He's
me,
got
one
the
person
floor.
comment.
He's got
Mr. Santos, you have the floor.
Thank you. So what I'm saying is that
You have 1 minute remaining, Mr. DeSantis.
I need 30 seconds. So what I'm saying here is let's all work together, get this behind us, and let's come up with a plan to help not only the police department, but everybody else involved, including some of the city clerks. Okay? Because Millville should be a thriving city. It is the industrial capital of South Jersey. Thank you, everybody, and God bless.
Tall people. Joe Sutherland, 51 Dorset Avenue. I'm here as the coordinator of the Millville Municipal Alliance Committee, and we've been working on starting up our programs for this year. Our year starts July 1st. We're also looking to try to bring in some speakers for our students for drug and alcohol prevention. we're in the process of looking for, ways to raise money for that. And because unfortunately, when COVID hit, the state took over 60% of our funding to put on programs for, and not just ours, all the alliances in the state, and they never have gave that money back or any part of that money. So it puts us in a position where we try to do some fundraising to make up for that, and not just not as the alliance coordinator, but just as me. I understand that we do need, to pay our police officers better, but we need to look at all of the city employees. I know for a fact that we have some city employees start at minimum wage. And I think we'd be real lucky to get the best to start at minimum wage doing anything. I mean, even Walmart pays better than minimum wage. But again, that's just that's not from the alliance, that's just me personally. And I don't know how the city comes up with that much money, because I know that we're not rolling in dough right now. But and I do think, as the gentleman brought up, that I know that we shy away from a cannabis dispensary, but all we're doing is sending our tax dollars to Vineland, and I just don't think that we have that much extra money that we need to send money to Vineland. I could be wrong about that, but that's just my personal opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Good evening, Angeline Broomhall, Millville. I support my police, but, no but. I'm considered low income. That's not easy to admit on microphone in front of all of you on TV. I would never ask someone, and I do, I guess just existing in this town, to put their life on the line for less than minimum wage, basically, for poverty, to be like me. That's embarrassing. Yet somehow we find ways to give out 15-year tax pilots. Somehow we find ways to pull somebody off the street with zero experience and pay them 6 figures. You want to know where the money is? It's the same way that you find money in my house to feed my kid or whatever. You budget properly. You prioritize properly. We don't give big executives in this city $28,000, do we? We're not giving out tax pilots for companies that are providing no jobs when we know the research shows that tax pilots and tax abatements don't work. We have the money. We're just spending it wrong. Please, please. Your lives depend on this. Your lives, your children's lives, your husband, your mother, yourself. It's not a joke. This isn't just about an extra dollar in your pay. It's very serious. I just beg you, please, I'm not one to beg for you guys to spend more. This is something that's very, very, very serious. I support our police and firemen. No buts.
Thank you, Angel.
Hi, my name is Tom McGinty. I'm from Millville, and I'm former law enforcement. I'm retired. It's really tough when you have other people that are working around you. You're doing a harder job than they are, and they're making a lot more money. I know Millville's short-staffed. I know they got their hands full. You don't have to know when you drive through the city and you see red lights and blue lights on practically every night. 3rd Street, 4th Street, 2nd Street, people getting run over out on Route 49 because they're fighting in the street, coming out of our parks and so forth. And I'm only going on speculation, rumor, whatever. I don't know exactly what happened there, but it's something that shouldn't have happened. It's tough, and they do a dangerous job, and I wasn't preparing to speak to that. There were two things that came up in the meeting. The one thing, they're talking about the forever chemicals and so forth. They did put sludge out there. The DEP approved it. They sampled it. There's monitoring wells and so forth and so on. So before anybody gets too worked up, it's not like they're putting Love Canal chemicals out there. Texas is Texas, and they don't graze cattle. They grow corn. The corn gets used for any one of a number of things, probably making biofuels. But the forever chemicals are Teflons, PFAS. They're the kind of things that typically don't show. The phthalates, other things, plastics that show up in sewage, they're everywhere. They're ubiquitous. They're in Antarctica. There's, we've already bought that. There's not much you can do about it. It biodegrades over a long time, but without really looking into it or sampling, you're really not going to know if there was any impact whatsoever. And currently, I don't think there's anything getting put out there other than soy in the oat milk from the oat milk place, and they're using that as a soil conditioner. What I would like to bring up, since we kind of got murdered at the planning board meeting with the ideas of doing the zoning redevelopment, the city is working hard to try and figure out ways to, bolster our economy. And a lot of times we get, people that not in my backyard. I don't want to have this, that, or the other built because, it's going to impact me one way or the other. Millville's been an industrial town. And in the past, things are a lot cleaner and better than they ever were. Companies, when they open up a company, they have to adhere to more stringent environmental laws than ever before. And if you come to the meeting, you want to start going on about we're going to wreck a C1.
1 minute remaining, Mr. McGee.
Okay. You got to come correct. And, they brought up about the water quality and we're going to ruin Union Lake if we do this, that, or the other thing. The lake, the stream, and the other thing out there are not C1. They're not even close. So, you have to really look at things. And if you really want to kick something in about what kind of development's going to happen, whatever, please do your homework. And, I want to keep things as nice as we can and safe for everybody. And I think the commission, the planning board, and the zoning board all have the same thing in mind. Thank you.
Seeing no one else, I will close public comment portion. Closing comments of commissioners. Commissioner Hewitt.
First, I want to thank everybody for their thoughts. I want to thank the residents for their thoughts about our police department. I know what our police department does. I see it every day. How are we going to fix this? How are we going to fix this? I fully realize that as I sit here right now, there are no elected officials that campaigned with me 2 3/4 years ago when I spoke to residents clearly and truthfully. I will raise your taxes 2 cents every year as long as it went to public safety. Nobody tore my head off. Nobody. threw me to the ground, nobody complained. I won my seat. Let me remind you, I'm not sitting here with any of those commissioners that I ran with. Did I get to do what I campaigned on? No, I didn't. City of Millville has the lowest tax base in the county of Cumberland County for all of us that pay taxes. Could that be a reason why our public safety team, our police, firefighters, and rescue squad, along with our city employees, are not making what they should? Yeah, I'm looking everywhere. What are we going to do? I don't have any control over it anymore. I spend a lot of time, and now I'll call on my police officers. I get phone calls at 1 o'clock in the morning. I watch the residents of this city tear apart my police department, your police department. They do what they do, and they do it good. I had an officer 3 meetings ago. He was working his last 2 days for the Millville Police Department. And I was standing out front on this sidewalk where I stand after every meeting, sometimes till 11 o'clock at night. And he pulled up, I couldn't tell who he was, but he called for me to come over to the squad car. I'm not going to name the officer because that would not be fair or right. I walked over to the police car, and he apologized to me for leaving the Millville Police Department to go to another department. I said, you don't have to apologize to me. You have to do what's right for you. You have to do what's right for your family. You chose this career, and it's not working here. He did not have to apologize to me. I have to apologize to my departments. I spend time with my officers. Do I have to? No, I don't have to. If I don't want to hear it, I control whether I hear it or not. I don't have to go to roll calls. I don't have to answer phone calls. I could be like people that sat in this seat before me and just go on. I'm not going to do it. It's the job of this commission. And it is a priority of the residents to stop beating my people up. Think about it, people. How many times have I sat here and told the senior citizens, which I am one of, your tax increases you get back every year. Fill out the form. Fill out that form. You get them back. You pay them every quarter just like I do. But you get that back. It does not affect the budget of this city. What does affect the budget of this city is every time one of my officers get hurt because they don't have what they need. Because they're tired and worn out. Because yes, they come to work after getting done working a 12-hour shift. They turn around and they come back in 6 hours. Because I don't have police officers, which means you don't have police officers. Stop tearing up my police officers on Facebook where you think you're making a difference. It doesn't work, people. It doesn't work. I'll repeat myself. We collect the lowest amount of city property taxes in this county. Why don't we pay our employees? That's why. That's all I got to say. thank you all of everybody that's here and not here that is watching. I'm done.
Thank you, Commissioner Hewitt. Commissioner Ranella.
Address a few things from this evening. Mrs. Kears, I wanted to just address with you. I'll be honest, I felt like I was on the spot there. I didn't have the exact verbiage of the first reading. I was aware of what I was voting on. If you want me to go over it with you again, I just kind of got sidetracked here with taxes and just collecting my thoughts here. I want the Millville Police Department to know that you're greatly appreciated in this city. You may not feel like it, but you're one of the backbones of this community. Without you guys, it would be chaos. We do appreciate everything you do. I do see swipes on social media, of course, at the police or the fire department. I even see city employees taking swipes at the commissioners on social media, which I don't think is cool or acceptable either. I don't think any of that is acceptable. I know it's a thankless job a lot of the times, but I'd like to personally thank you guys for everything you do. A lot of people come to this podium and they think that the solution is always to raise taxes to solve everything. I personally do not agree with that. I think that raising taxes is a Band-Aid. It fixes the problem temporarily, but it's not a long-time solution. I think economic development is the long-term solution. And I find it a little frustrating, and I bite my lip on occasion, but a lot of people that come to this podium and a lot of people that speak either appeal their taxes or don't pay property taxes. And they're the first people that always say that raising taxes are the solution. The microphone is here for feedback. If anybody ever has ideas, I mean, yeah, you're welcome to come up here and voice your frustrations. That's what this is all about. Or to praise things that you think are wonderful that are taking place. But solutions are always welcome. If anybody has ideas, Mr. DeSantis, when he came up, he did a touch on that. We're here, please. Offer us some ideas, suggestions, and solutions. And on that note, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner Ranella. Commissioner Watson.
I kind of don't really know where to start. A couple things that were said, like working for the city, not being happy, not being rewarded for your efforts, and being displeased and leaving. That's kind of what happened to me. I left to another town. As far as supporting not just the police and fire, but all the unions that need contracts right now, you know what I mean? It's not necessarily that you don't have the support; it's there. Being part of the contract negotiations team, I could tell you I've been very displeased, especially with our representation, but I'm afraid to say anything further than that. I expressed what I felt at the beginning of the negotiations contract, or the negotiations, and it didn't go my way. That's pretty much all I'm going to say with that. Police department, fire department, Council 18, of course you have my support. I've been in public service for a long time. There's no reason not to have that support for all of you. The issue is when you're told you only have this much to spend and you have to spread it out between all the unions, how to do that fair is very difficult. And obviously that number needs to grow. And just like Marissa said, it's an economic development. And I'll be the first one to tell you I disagree with cannabis. I'm not going to say too much on it because there's other people in the city that want it to bring in the funding to support the police, fire, Council 18, bring in revenue and paint our streets and fix our curbs and things like that. That's just my take on it. I'm not going to accept it, but the rest of the city wants to. I'm fine with that. I can respect your opinion, respect mine. But yeah, economic development's the way to go. And even though I don't agree with the vice mayor all the time, he's probably going to be the best one to tell you that there's been so many efforts made with economic development, in the past few years. And You know, it's almost overwhelming. It's hard to keep up with how much is going on. And as far as wasted funding, I mean, there's a lot of money going out. I mean, we were just talking about there's water and sewer on this, and it's infrastructure. Well, if you have economic development going on, you need to replace those water mains. You need to increase the sewer line. You need to put in pump stations. Like I said, I'm not the best one to speak on it because that's not my background. But, you know, I think efforts have been made. And, you know, people at the podium, I understand you're frustrated. You know, when you come up to that podium, obviously you're passionate what you're talking about. You're coming out here. You have great representation, a big group that came out. But please, you know, don't think you're not the only ones that are very frustrated with the situation. You know, if we had an unlimited, you know, funding, I would definitely, it would be a yes, you know, to get you where you need to be for sure. But that's just not the case, and it's been very difficult. But that's all I really have to say. Thank you for everybody for coming out.
Thank you, Commissioner Watson. Detective Shipley, thank you for representing PBA 213. Take note that your words and all words of your citizens that speak tonight that are watching, we hear you. I want to ask the public, I saw a lot of heads nodding up and down when we were talking and when somebody brought up, Millville does not allow classes 6 through 7, that's the only other classes that the city does not allow, of cannabis. That is class 6 of retail, class 7 of delivery. This gets brought up every now and again, and why this is on my mind, I had a phone call today from Assemblyman Antoine McClellan, heads up business administrator. We'll be having a meeting with somebody from Cape May County that wants to have a cannabis business come here to the city of Millville. I do not know what type of business of cannabis, but I have to tell the assemblyman that we do not allow class 6 or 7. Pretty sure by all the shaking heads, and like it was said, that's tax dollars revenue going to the city of Vineland or very close to Commercial Township, where there will be, excuse me, bug, there will be retail in Commercial Township. Mr. Reeves, yes, that road is by New Jersey Motor Vehicle Code. Any unregistered residential street is automatic 25 miles an hour. I do not know if there needs to be state action in order to raise that. Painting lines is an issue in the city of Millville where, especially like the curb easements on High Street, that is of areas, I do agree with line that it is very vague, especially, and on Bogdan, you know, Kirby Windy Road. So with that, the resident on North 6th Street, the noise ordinance, I feel for your noise ordinance. The city does not have a noise ordinance, but as I'm told by the police department, you call, they will come, the noise should be turned down. Action will be taken if not, the noise is not turned down. As your comments to speed bumps, that is a long, lengthy process through the state DOT. They'd have to do traffic safety studies to find out why they were speeding. We had a lot of speeding issues when the last commission awarded the contract. We paved 5th Street. When 5th Street got done, you know, nice and smooth as glass, a lot of speeding on that. But as far as speed bumps, every once in a while, Pleasant Drive is another road that says, you know, we have to add speed bumps on. Long, lengthy, it's not a quick say, hey, state of New Jersey, we'd like speed bumps, we'll pay for it. That can't happen. Traffic safety study has to be done. It's 3 to 5 years. I agree with what all of you have said tonight. I appreciate each and every one of you coming out. Even if you're not here, I know that people are watching. I know residents throughout Millville that watch every single meeting. They'll not miss one of them, especially former city employees. It's weird. You know what I'm talking about, Jim. We're working to do our jobs. We're working to do the job that we're up here for. I will work to better the city of Millville. I'm not just here for 4 want to stay longer. That's for the people to decide that fact. I got asked 3 times to move to higher office. I said no. I'm going to stay here in Millville. I want to see change. I want to see our police department grow. I want to see this community grow. I want to see citizens stay. I don't need citizens leaving. Census in 2010, it was 28,000. We're decreasing just by the 2020 census. We need to bring back industry. Like people have said, we're an industry town. We need to create those jobs. Jobs for blue collar, jobs for white collar. We need good residents. We have good residents. We need more of them. I appreciate each and every one of you coming out tonight. I look forward to seeing all of you at our local businesses and eateries. You hear me talk about that a lot. Enjoy what Millville has to offer for you guys. We're bringing in new business. We want to revitalize old businesses. But we're here for you. Myself, Vice Mayor, we're all commissioners. We just have titles, some of us. But I appreciate each and every one of my commissioners for all their words and all their hard work. I wish each and every one of you have a good night and enjoy the rest of the evening. Can I have a motion for adjournment?
Make motion.
Second motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.